At noon, Governor Andy Beshear has sent a letter to the head of the DEA expressing his support for the federal reclassification of marijuana. The governor is asking the DEA to follow the recommendation of the Department of Health and Human Services to reschedule cannabis from a Schedule I narcotic to a Schedule III. Beshear says that move will provide patients an alternative to deadly opioids, and improving access to safe products will reduce crime. Kentucky's medical marijuana program is scheduled to begin January 21st.